The hurricane season of 2023 is currently ranked as the fourth most active season in recorded history. The season had an early start back in mid-January due to the formation of an unnamed subtropical storm off the northeast U.S. coast. Things were quiet afterwards leading up to the official start of the season, June 1st, but signs were pointing towards two notable phenomena that would influence the season and rival each other. One of which was the upcoming arrival of El Niño. What is El Niño, you may ask? No worries, because I'm going straight into it now. Let's think about the Earth and the Sun. Earth revolves around the Sun, and the Sun's rays are our main source of energy. However, Earth is almost spherical in shape, and because of this, the equator receives most of the rays. That's the reason equatorial regions such as the Caribbean are generally warm all year round. There are also winds that are constantly blowing around Earth. One such type is the trades. The trade winds blow from east to west across the Atlantic Ocean, the Caribbean, and to the Pacific. Let's stop right there. The Eastern Pacific. So in the equatorial Pacific, there is the ENSO region. ENSO stands for El Niño Southern Oscillation, and it is simply where oceanic temperatures fluctuate, but these fluctuations affect what happens across the planet. And what causes them? Well, the trades. We established that equatorial regions are generally warm all year round, but when trades coming from the east are stronger than normal, warm water at or near the ocean surface is displaced further west. As a result, cooler water from further depths replaces the warm water. That process is known as upwelling. Tropical cyclone activity, which includes the formation of tropical depressions, tropical storms, and hurricanes, is dependent on warm surface waters where great atmospheric instability can fuel them. When these cooler waters set in, there is typically reduced cyclonic activity in the eastern Pacific Ocean. That is what defines a La Niña. It is the cooler phase of the ENSO. When surface water temperatures of the ENSO region match up with the climate average, that phase is known as the neutral phase and is essentially the mid-ground between a La Niña and an El Niño. El Niño, as you may now realize, is the warm phase of ENSO. This is when trade winds are not strong enough to displace all the warm equatorial waters of the eastern Pacific, so it's just sitting there and heating up. There is something typical of El Niño hurricane seasons for the Atlantic basin that we should establish. The increased temperatures in the eastern Pacific helps to generate a lot of thunderstorms, which in turn leads to increased winds in the upper levels of the atmosphere that blow from west to east. When these winds blow over the Atlantic, they help to increase unfavorable atmospheric conditions, which normally allows for a suppressed hurricane season. But that was a rule the 2023 hurricane season did not adhere to, as 20 storms developed in all, 7 of which became hurricanes and 3 major hurricanes. On average, only around 14 storms develop in a hurricane season, so there were 6 more storms than average. What was the anomaly that caused this? Before I explain what fueled the hurricane season to be ranked as one of the most active seasons in recorded history, here's a question to test your knowledge, and the answer will be discussed later in the video. Your question is, which Atlantic hurricane season to date produced the most hurricanes? Stick around to find out if your answer is correct. Now back to the video. The cause of above average tropical cyclone activity in the 2023 hurricane season is above average sea surface temperatures. That was the anomaly. So the two phenomena that would essentially rival each other were the increased temperatures of surface waters in the Atlantic and El Niño conditions. Of the two, it is safe to say that the above-average temperatures succeeded in boosting tropical cyclone activity in 2023. Imagine if it wasn't an El Niño season. Imagine if the La Niña phase had set in amid the warmer waters in the Atlantic. It is chilling to think of what could have happened because surely the effects of the season would have been exacerbated. There is another factor that we should discuss because even though many storms have formed, the vast majority remained offshore, including the strongest hurricane of the season, Hurricane Lee, while at peak intensity with maximum sustained winds of 165 miles per hour. This factor is an area of high pressure over the subtropical Atlantic known as the Bermuda Azores High. Winds within an area of high pressure in the northern hemisphere blow in a clockwise manner outward from the center, and it is also the mechanism responsible for steering tropical waves into the Caribbean. When conditions are right and development takes place, a dominant area of high pressure is likely to steer that tropical system generally toward the west, and that is when it becomes a threat as Caribbean islands could be impacted. However, if there isn't a dominant high, these developing systems have a better chance to escape to the north and may miss the Caribbean, Bahamas, and the United States. We saw plenty of that this hurricane season, even though there were a couple of storms and hurricanes which impacted some areas. Many bullets were dodged by the Caribbean, but we may not be so lucky in the 2024 hurricane season. An early prediction by the Tropical Storm Risk is calling for a very active hurricane season, anticipating 20 named storms, 9 hurricanes, and 4 major hurricanes. A major hurricane is one ranked as a Category 3 or higher. The reason for this prediction is the likelihood of above-average temperatures as well as the possibility of a weakened El Niño or ENSO-neutral conditions through the season. Another concerning prediction is this map that was released in early December. The teal-shaded areas indicate above-average precipitation between June and August of 2024, while the brown shadings indicate drier conditions. Based on what is depicted here, a dominant area of high pressure is suggested, which would mean that the Caribbean may be more at risk of significant impacts in the upcoming hurricane season. All in all, it's not looking too good, but it is important to take note of the fact that these are very early predictions and there are bound to be some changes, either for the worse or the better, as the new year commences. Most predictions from other organizations, including the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, are released in April and May. So at that time, we should have a good idea of what lies ahead based on atmospheric trends. Back to the question asked earlier. Which Atlantic hurricane season to date produced the most hurricanes? Did you guess 2020? Well, you are wrong. The correct answer is the historic 2005 Atlantic hurricane season, which produced record activity. 15 hurricanes formed in that hurricane season, and 2020 follows behind in second place at 14 hurricanes. So that is what I wanted to share with you in this video, and I hope that you found it to be quite informative, and I will see you in the next one.